You good for tomorrow too, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Yeah, this is good time, man, because I've seen a bunch of buzz with the yeah, man. So it'd be good. Like, people won't probably get it, you know. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they know of each other if they haven't talked before. But you know, I mean, that's two of the most successful RB guys in the game. So got that right there.
The coolest too, and most relatable.
Yeah, laid back, chill. A lot of acolytes, but they just chill dudes, man, and everything. Like I said, I know I follow around. I never talked to him and everything, man. But it should be rolling right now anyway, though. Anyway, man, it was God. Guys, there's gonna be Donnie coming to you from Masao, Japan, and my guy, as always, Lexis King from Richmond, CA, not VA, and everything.
VA, not VA.
Like you said, man. So we were gonna have Jake Jones and Ryan Little on, but scheduling. So we're gonna have those guys on tomorrow. It'll be actually probably out. It'll come out by the time you see this guys see this and everything. So anyway, Lex, man, what's been going on, man, since the last time we talked, man?
I finally got back to drifting. I was gonna wait until I broke that RX-8 lap record, but my boy's son just turned 18. He got him IS 350, and I watched all of our collective kids' social media.
Yeah,
and I saw him playing with these takeover idiots, and I said, "No, sir. You will not play with those gentlemen in the street. You will come over here and holler at your unk, and we're going to teach you how to drift." So I took him to Sonoma, and I couldn't go to Sonoma without bringing a car. So
yeah,
I went drifting. It was pretty interesting.
How was it?
It's cool, dude. It's like I never left. You know what I mean? I've been doing all this gripping, trying to maintain traction, but dog, you get in the car, you get to drifting. One run, feel it out. Second run, this is what I'm gonna do. Third run should be perfect.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that I'm running down these lap times. By the way, with the Sonoma on Mother's Day, took my wife for a ride in the car. Damn near got the lap record. I'm 800ths off. So I dropped 3 seconds from my last Sonoma trip.
So would you change anything mechanically or tires or just? Yeah.
That was it. I just was like, I need to brake harder, let off, and get on the brakes quicker.
Right.
That's all I changed. All around the track, I picked up 3 seconds.
So obviously, so you had the device you can measure the coast time and everything?
Yes. And so I have the lap timer, the transponder on the front of the car, getting official 100% accurate. And then I have the Track Addict app inside the car, which it will film the run like a GoPro and put the overlays of everything, throttle and brake and G-force. And the last time I was there, I had about 11 seconds of coast time. That was, over the whole lap. Shit, that's some of your pool area. Pull from that, and apparently I pulled it back down to 9 seconds of coast time and found a 1:55.3 in a lap time. So I'm right on the ass. But it was cool because that was Sunday, and then Wednesday I went drifting, and it was like, damn.
Yeah.
This is, you know what I mean? Like, this is what's going on? This is tight.
Yeah, you just rolling it up, man. Like, man, that's. Yeah, I was actually just talking to the cat outside about that, man. He was like, he just got here in February in Japan, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm in the drifting this, and this." I was just like, yeah. So he's just looking around. He's like, "I never see it at the track." I'm like, "Dude, like, it's not that I don't want to be there. It's just that I'm there when you guys are like working. I can kind of like I was just there the other day. I don't post.
Yeah.
It was a time when I used to post like, "Hey, man, I'll be at the track," and then I just slowly got out of that. And then, like, I know you mentioned, like, people were egging you want to get on the track, and then where they at?
Yeah. Where they at, though?
Yeah.
I don't see them.
Yeah, it's like you can't be bugging me to get on the track, and then I'm at the track, like, and then you got every excuse in the world to not get out there and everything. So,
yeah.
But and like you said, man, it's one of those things where we do a couple BS laps and get back into it, then bam, right into it, and they don't get it, man. It's like, bro, like once we mastered the art of being out of control, and in the car, that's one of those things. It's like people say riding a bike. That's the most relatable thing because everybody's ridden a bike. Most people they get to a certain age, but the car stuff is just the same way, man. We can hop in it, do a few laps, fill it out the brakes, and then you right back into it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Like I was telling my son, there's a couple people in the world that can do, or not a couple, there's a lot.
Right.
But when you look at the whole percentage of it,
Mhm.
it's probably a small percentage. Small percentage of the people in the world that drift, small percentage of people in the world that grip, small percentage of people in the world that ride motorcycles, rally race, rock crawl, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm.
But when you do all of that, like you're all of that encompassing, it's kind of like, be proud of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even if you go out and make a small mistake on the very first run out of the day, it's just like, oh well, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, let me go line back up and get another run. And it's cool because there was no mistakes that were really made. It was just with the vert, I run such high grip on it.
Mm.
245s at 20 psi, and it's a stock 180 horsepower rotary, right? So it's just like that shit. I forgot how much grip it had, and then I also forgot I had an actual active handbrake in it now.
Mm.
I've driven the vert for years without a handbrake, and that's why I kept so much grip in it. So when I throw it sideways to scrub speed, I have the rear grip. So now I'm like, okay, I can make car changes, and I had to see if it still worked from getting clapped up.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
everything.
Based on that, how did you notice any steering was all good and everything from the front end smash?
Yeah, I did an alignment. I got my toe plates and everything, so I lined it up the other day. I did notice the steering wheel was a little off still when I was driving it up and down and around Sonoma, but there's this one bounce that they had the track lined up on, and I went over that shit, and it straightened the wheel up. So whatever little tightening or slag that was left in the alignment, that shit went straight as hell after I hit that bounce.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna load this video up in there on the WitchCon post production and everything. But yeah, man, that track, man, what was that track? What was that? That was Sonoma.
So on
Yeah.
Wednesdays, we're trying to run drag racing, which is on the drag strip. The drag strip splits into the middle of turn 7 and 7A. So we can't run the backside of the track because all the drag racers use that as return lane, and they park all in turn 11. So we use up on the hill and the big skid pad. So that video there is in the big skid pad where we run all the tandems and everything, and then up on the hill, which we call the Summer Jam layout, is turn 3 to 5. And it's pretty chill, man. It's a good situation. Plus we added the donut box. We call it the kiddie pool, so that was a great way for me to, I kind of try to guide guys, if you don't know, let's just go. And when we go get there, then we, you figure it out. Ain't nowhere to crash at, really, unless just wade. Like, this ain't your thing. That's the only way you gonna crash it up. But
yeah, that's dope though, man. It's dope because it's just like what I mean, just getting back into it, man, and not getting back. Like, I want to say getting back into it because like we never left and shit.
right.
So, but it's like one of those things where the new cats come around and they were more like what I mean. You were already mobbing back in 2000, the beginning of the millennium. And like they just got on, so it's like it's weird now us to be in the game so long now, what I mean, over 20 years, and it's like it don't feel like 20 years to me. I don't know about
right, and that's what the cool thing was having my wife there, because we literally got the email the Friday before the event and said, "Hey, everybody, track's back open. Spectators, ride-alongs, you could do it. Come on." I'm like, all right, cool. So I was sitting there, talking to my wife, like, yo, you haven't rode with me in like 20 years, bro. Last time you rode me was in the back road. So yeah, I threw her in there, let her get slammed all over the damn interior. It was so funny. I was holding her half the time. Like, yo, chill, some feet on the ground and push back if you need to, you know. But no, we were talking about, you said you were watching Brap and those dudes. They jump on.
They just jump like they always be nonchalant. Like, man, I ain't riding. Like, and they grinding and doing what they doing. People think they be like, nah, really, they ain't riding 6 months because they trying to do this, do that. he's down in Miami. Then he got, I'm pretty sure you probably see he got robbed like a couple weeks ago and everything down in Miami. So then they got kicked out of the house like the same week. So he was just, his podcast were kind of, people were seeing like, dude, people think like they see him down in Miami with all these MP1s and this and this. Like, dude, life is still real. You know what I'm saying? And he's showing it to him.
But it's interesting though, because I mean, he's a young kid, right? He's like, what, 20,
crazy.
23?
Yeah.
So I don't know if he knew or didn't know how HOAs go, but yeah, you can't be with all that fuck shit.
I didn't say no, but I was like, man, how long is this gonna last, man? Like, I'm like,
yeah,
it's nice.
We all know how it was gonna go.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
and then when he was like explaining, and I'm like, dude, but yeah. No, it's like, nah, dude. Like they not going for that shit, man.
Nah, yeah, we just knew it's a matter of time, and he be feeling himself. He might have came through the neighborhood barking a little too hard. The R8 already had exhaust on it.
Yeah,
the dirt. It's like in my old neighborhood, I literally was butting heads battling with my neighbors, and because I was cool with the cops, as many times as they called the cops on me, they was like, we ain't going over there because the boy ain't doing nothing but playing with his, with his shit. So it was just like, then they finally got the idea and then just got used to it. But yeah, if it was a HOA, they could have been like, you get your dumb ass out of here. Like they trying to do him. But then his other thing, walking around with that jewelry on, man, that shit ain't sweet, though.
Yeah,
shit ain't sweet.
The thing is, like, you don't really see, like, cause I didn't know until he been doing the videos for a good amount of time. So but I think he was start like 17, 18 or whatever. He started doing the vlog thing
back in Philly.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And then I'm checking out the video you sent me right now and shit. But yeah, man, it's like, he mentioned one day, it was like, yeah, I'm only this. I'm like, damn, you're only 20. Like, it's pretty dope, man. You know what I mean? He's already got his path set. And like the thing about it, man, not only like the noise, potential noise from the bikes and everything, even though you say you want ripping and running, you got those people know too, like that dude's like fucking 25. So they're sour on top of the pending noise and the HOA shit. This fucking dude's like 20, he's less than 25 years old, and he's already he's at a place where I worked 30 years to get to. So that, add that shit on top of it. On top of the HOA shit, and they want him out of there just because, man.
I mean, you go to a neighborhood that got old people, and it's like, get this young, tattooed, loud talking Puerto Rican the fuck up out of here. Yeah. And because of those things, yeah, they can make all kind of shit happen.
It's a lose for him, man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It was funny. I had guys hollering at me for my riding antics, and I'm just like, guys, you're gonna crash and die and burn and explode in a million pieces and kill families. Like, okay, I'll log that with the other millions of people that have been telling me that for the last 20 years, because I've been doing this for 20 years. Like, I won't defend what I'm doing, but I don't have those same fears that y'all got.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah, it's a control thing, man. Like overall with the bikes, cars, anything other than sitting on the couch, it's like people like they can't. Or like I remember back in the day, man, because it was close to you, man, with the very first X Games. I don't know if you've seen it, but I remember they were in San Francisco and they had the dude Biker Sherlock. I always remember that dude on a luge and everything, and like these motherfuckers are laying down on a skateboard, going down a mountain and shit, hitting hay bales. And like
before that, hitting guardrails, metal guardrails.
I'm like, what the?
You know how dangerous those are laid over each other.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you got, and this, but people like, man, how the fuck? Like, bro, this dude put in, before the X Games even came out, obviously they put in like hours and years of
mastered it.
Yeah, man. It's like you can't on the couch. Also looking in, because I'm like, I like speed, but I watched your last joint where you're like you're going through the thing and everything, and it was I think you and two other guys. And everything. Yeah. And I'm like, I just watch it for what it is, a little grin on my face. I'm like, I know he got it. You know what I'm saying? And he knows what to look out for. And most people are like, man, I can't. And also another thing too, you're going fast, but the cameras also make it seem like fucking ridiculously fast. The angle, sometimes the angles of the camera, the fisheye or whatever.
Yeah.
It makes it like you're fucking warp speed.
yeah, it does two things. If you're going slow,
Yeah,
it looks really slow.
yeah,
When you start going fast, it gets warp speed because of the, and when you're on super wide, the visual of the blurring on the sides.
yeah,
Okay, this is, yeah,
yeah.
this is kind
Cause I'm like when you was like I think you was like flawless when you went in between.
of the wheelies in between the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Cause I'm like, man, all I'm thinking, man, is like, man, I hope one of these motherfuckers don't swerve over, man. Cause like I mean, honestly, man, it's like the bike guys, for the most part, in control. It's almost
Mhm.
always somebody, now it's even more. So I'm pretty sure you see it. It's all the time
All the
with
time. I
dudes on
catch
their
it on
dudes
camera. I
on their
know what you're
phone.
about to even say.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that's the thing that people don't understand because you can't. One day technology will get good enough that there's going to be something that sits in your helmet
Mm.
and watches your pupils move back and forth, and it's going to adjust the camera to that. Because what a lot of guys don't see just off of that wide angle, I've been looking, no matter how fast it looks like I'm coming up on the car, I've been looking at the driver in the car and his wheel in relation to the center lane.
Right.
So I'm watching him on my way up to him. Once I get about 70 feet at whatever speed I'm at, 120,
Yeah, he was
150,
right behind.
I'm looking way up to the next person. So I've already, at 150 miles an hour, you're going 70, 130 miles an hour. You know what I mean? It's like, choo,
Mm.
it's a quick second. So I scan up to a certain point, and then I scan way out. So I've already visualized everything that I feel that's going to have me confident enough to go through whatever condition or situation it is. And then I'm way out looking up to the next obstacle. If there's clear freeway, then yeah, I might crack full throttle. Because like if you look at the video, I'm kind of like half throttle, 80%
Mm.
throttle on that bike is too powerful. The Beamer that I was riding, so I was actually every time I was like, "God damn!" because it kept doing a wheelie. I was like, "I'm going 130. How is
Yeah.
it still?"
Yeah, I didn't
But
notice when you did I was watching your hand because I was like, that's one thing I'm doing a lot really recently, man. I haven't been able to really get out there and practice on a bike, man. But I was like, guys, it's kind of like I guess you related to drifting, where a lot of guys
yeah,
outside looking in, they think you're just fucking on it. They
yeah,
don't realize you're just like you got it up, and then I notice your hand, it's just like locked at a. It's not like you're not going like this and shit and modulating, and
hmm
you're just locking it, and you got it in a sweet spot, and you just kind of it look like you're just holding it.
yep. Because I do a lot of throttle twisting with these two fingers.
Mm.
So I don't fully give you this range of motion all the time. It'll be this, or if I'm making like really small increments, I'm doing this with my pointer and my thumb.
Mm.
So it's yeah, it gets real different. But yeah, that shit is like I was talking to JTP when we were talking. He was on his way back from Atlanta, and I was like, we were talking about the RX-8, about getting ready to. I was that close to knocking his lap record out and shit, and he was laughing because he's like, "Damn, you're doing the most with like real low horsepower and everything." And then we were talking about how the 660s are working as far as grip and drift and everything. And I was like, "Well, when the car gets sideways and I'm going like super fast, um." Like, believe it or not, how much grip the 660's got. I just lightly raised throttle out on that car and just it it sounds like it's still on full throttle, but it might drop down about 80%. And that little amount of throttle keeps it from the car going out into more angle or
Mm.
staying right where it's at. And it's like, we were talking about that because his setup, he's running 660 fronts, 615K rears, and he's like, dude, the car, we changed it in so much faster. He's like, he was almost like, shit, I can only imagine what putting the 660s on the back is gonna be like. But yeah, he was like, he can mat it now, and he does a little bit of backing out because at first the car used to, they call it flashing the tires,
Right.
right?
Right.
You just get on and it's like, blow, fucking smoke everywhere, but the car didn't go anywhere.
Mm.
And that's what his Mustang was doing for quite a while. Now they got it, and I'm glad they're doing it on the same tires so that he knows when they go to the 660s, that thing is going to do exactly what it's got to do, and he can be more aggressive, use more pedal. But that throttle modulation is such a good thing, man, on the bikes and everything. Like in this car, when I'd be drifting, it's so loud and it sounds like it's hitting the limiter. And a lot of the time when I used to do pedal cams, I'd be like 30%, 50% throttle,
Mm.
and just because it's so sideways or whatever, and it's got enough wheel spin, and I'm keeping it close to the limiter, you can make it sound like it's doing the max, but you're giving it a little bit of input.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's the biggest thing, man. Like it's that kind of cool. I just take my knowledge from the, like you said, all that from the bike, and that's where I kind of get jealous because you already mastered the bikes, you already mastered the cars, and I've already mastered the cars, and it's like I'm a 38 and I fucking want to play with bikes now because it's like I've always wanted to, but it's like one of those things where I was like, man, limited funds, limited sort resources and stuff like that. Let me just go ahead and do the car stuff. Eventually, I'll get to the bike stuff and everything. And now I'm in a place where I can, and I kind of been chilling out, man, because I'm like, man, I got all these customer cars to knock out and other stuff to pay off. Because a solid bike here in Japan, they cost, I mean, YZ, whatever, KW, like KX, whatever, they go in the range of about 3 to 4K for like something that's ready to go. You ain't got, fucking chains not all rusty and the tires are cracked and blown out. Cause it's like I ain't got time to really restore bikes right now. I got the RMZ 450, but I was gifted that, and that bike was immaculate. It was a race bike, and I mean it's clean as hell. The dude never drove it. He never rode it like in the mud. Is and he just dropped all the parts to me. So pretty much I got everything I need except for the engine to put it back together. And but that's a 450. I don't need that just yet.
So, it'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be like, just jumping in and driving a V8 car.
Yeah, so no, I got it. It looks cool, but I'm gonna get that 120, 125 and rock with that for a little bit, man. And just again, man, I know again with that 80, I told you already, I almost broke my goddamn knee in half on the 80. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm 245 pounds in a fucking P-Dub 80, and it's that little bitch threw me off. Like, hey man, you gotta control this shit.
They'll do it. Yeah.
Like, cause I was when I talked to Shamar, like I said, I was like, hey man, I was like in grass. He's like, nah, dude, you gotta go. He's like, is that grass? What happened? I had a patch of grass and it ramped the fucking wheel up at the same time that I throttled. And I was watching a Boogie, and he was saying, nah, man, I mean, a lot of guys, one of the worst things for riding is when a guy is trying to ride, commendable for trying to ride a janky bike, but it stunts your, what I mean? If you're trying to wheelie and do everything, and you like what happened to me, it was sputtering and then it hit. So it was like, and then it fucking hit. And at the same time when it hit, I hit the patch and that bitch just went like, I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker can come up. Cause I thought it couldn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cause it was bogging. And then when you really open that shit up, the carb is fucking gunk. That's all it is. The carb needs to be clean. So when you open it wide up, it would really go like, I'm like, oh shit. Like, that bitch threw me right off. And I got the bike and I'm like, I did a super fucking Japanese squat on my two bad knees. It was instant hurt.
Oh man,
like,
that's the funny thing about bikes. Yeah. You'll fuck yourself up on something plain.
Yeah. Regular shit.
Cars, you just gotta be doing the max and really screw it up, and then you be like, oh, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
But then, so I was watching you do the FD live stream.
Oh yeah.
But what you think about the knockout qualifying?
I like it because it moves faster, man. And like I mentioned it before, man. We were, I mean, it's shocking to see like what I thought they were going to do back-to-back rounds this year too, because it's kind of truncated D1 the same way as getting started last week. So what I think they seen is, man, even though like people wasn't in attendance, but it was just moving quicker, having the rounds back-to-back, having like no qualifying, straight brackets. And then a knockout thing, that was kind of new to me. I didn't know about that. It moves faster, man. And I think anything that's going to move faster is going to, number one, for them, it's going to cost cheaper to run a venue, which means they could put that money back into different portions that they were losing before doing those qualifying, man. So for the guys that are listening and watching, man, could you break down how it was before and then how it is now for the qualifying?
Yeah, at first it was just however many drivers. If it was 60, all 60 of those drivers would go do multiple runs,
right,
so they get it down to 32 for the competition. Now, what they do is, however many drivers right now, I think it's 33 or 34 drivers. All 34 of them get a crack at it. If you score good your first run, you're over here. You score from 1 to 24. If, say, whomever who's a heavy hitter, they do a big run, they score 0, no score. Doesn't matter what they do the next run. You are going to be 25 and below. And below. So as you see, Matt Field had a 95 score for his run, got him first place. JTP had a 95 for his run, got him 25th. Doesn't matter that they have the same. If you go to the second round, the best that you can get is 25. So it moves it right along. It makes the excitement level go up because the drivers know you
gotta go.
Be best foot forward right now.
Right.
So it doesn't do the, hey, let me throw a lob out there real quick. Okay, the car's set up pretty good. Let's make it tighter in the rear real quick, and I'll throw it maximum, next run. Nah, now it's set this shit up like this. Let's do practice runs. This works. This is the qualifying setup, and let's go for it. So no more of that. Just go through practice and fill out the bugs. You've been doing this for years.
Right.
Get what works on the car. Go to round 1, throw it down. Round 1 qualifying's over. Wherever you lay, if you got a score on the first one, you're going to be 1 to 24. So it's pretty cool. It goes through quickly, and the drivers seem to be all right with it. And I actually like it because what we did at Super D and what we do at Amateur Drift Series is while you're driving and practicing, the judges are just grabbing a name,
right,
all of it till they get their list filled up.
So that's in Japan. What you just mentioned right there is called, they do the same thing, and I didn't know my first time I was there, it's called roulette. So what they do is they'll have people don't know why you got numbers in the car. And the reason why numbers in the car, number one, show that you register for the event. You're not just a random dude that just fucking drove on the paddock and drove on the track. And number two is so they can say car number 31, blah blah blah. But they did, so they would do. Of course, like you said, they only have what. So they would do like for D1 shit, they would have like the top. It would just go straight top 16. They wouldn't even. It's no 32. So there would be fucking 65, 80. It'll be they do roulette when it's over, and it's also an odd number. So what they do, man, is like you can go down there and throw out, if you know your shit and you're confident, you could throw out one smoky ass lap, hit all the points, and then go back to the pits and chill. And and then and you just know that you're done. But if you're not sure about that run, and your spotter know like, hey man, you kind of was short on that clipping point, or you weren't doing this, or you initiated after the you must drift point, because that like people out there don't know, you got to be drifting in certain zones. You can't be in the zone then start to drift, just like fucking Gran Turismo. You get points already for being sideways. That's why Lex get max points, and a lot of people be fucking up because they be drifting after they hit the yellow part. That's too late.
120 feet, 200 feet before that.
Yeah, so you're carrying the momentum. So when that shit, the ticker's like already fucking going crazy and shit. So in the speed and everything. So you got to get all that stuff up, man. So roulette would pretty much roulette was making the event shorter because right after we got done, there was somebody else getting on the track, bikes or some shit. So they would pick you out, and then I didn't know, and I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" And they was like, "Oh, it's roulette," and I was like, "What the fuck's that?" And they was like, "Oh, you just run." So I was like, "Why?" They start at 9, and it's like 9 to fucking. It's like
is
9,
your qualifying clock?
Yeah, it's like 9. Like drivers' meeting is almost always at 8. First cars on track 9:30 a.m. Then from 9 to 9:30 a.m. and there's no groups. You just fucking go. And,
yeah.
Sorry about that. There's groups, but they don't put a big stop in it. So they're like A group. A group goes out, and then they kind of like they wave a flag, which is not a finished flag, and then the next group is staged. They send them all out, and then if you're in the A group, you can go right back out. You gotta get back in line with the B group. So there's no grouping by drivers. It's just everybody gives everybody space, and then you just go out there, hit the points that they said in the drivers meeting, and then after that, if you feel you fulfilled everything, you can leave. And most guys do because they just know they're gonna get in, and the judge is already looking for them. But if you're
Mhm.
a new cat, you just gotta fucking stay out there and just get that. Yeah, you know what
But
I
you know, I
mean?
kind of like that format better. Like when we did it at Super D,
Yeah.
it didn't matter where you were at. You
Right.
just got back because we also pulled names out of hats.
Right.
So all I need to know is if I'm in.
Right.
You know, doesn't matter where I placed, how much better I did, because it really only comes down to the battles,
Mm.
and that's kind of how we did ADS, the amateur drift series that I'm judging at now. It's like you worry about getting comfortable. I'm gonna see that you're comfortable, and then you're in. If you never get comfortable, just understand you just didn't have what we feel made up a good competition.
Mm.
And because guys weren't worried about it, they got so comfortable, so loose, so good in their car and their line. When we got it to battles, same thing with me and Super D. We just pulled out the hats. We got lined up. All right, cool. Boom, 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 boom. I was ending up in the finals. Julian was the final boss. I couldn't get by him, or we were having a ton of fun, and I just kind of got because it was always so many one more times, and I'd be having a blast, and then I'd fuck up somewhere and be like, "Ah, I lost."
Yeah.
But and it was kind of the same thing with ADS. It was just like guys were having fun through their battles. The battles looked really good. All of the stress was kind of relieved and out in the air. So they just got to drive. And like with Formula D, how they're doing their thing now is just like the guys that do good, even the guys that come in 25 and below, they seem to be it's all right, it's good
Mm.
because um and JTP mentioned this as well, not having the points for qualifying is a nail biter
Mm.
because I know for facts we'd be up there. I'd be counting points and qualifying points to see, oh, we're good. We're moving through to this. We're in the top 10 because we wanted to be in top 10s or we wanted to be in these areas. So for qualifying positioning, because you go out and qualify earlier, all of that kind of shit. When we had to deal with weather and stuff. But those 12 points for qualifying were like prime. That was good points. Now they don't get that. So, like I told Justin, just keep doing your thing since, we don't have to worry about points for qualifying, just getting the show and win the battles.
Right.
And the battle is everything now. The battle is your only source of points. Like when you look at the lineup for FD right now, you see some key guys, they're down low, but if you add 12 points to them for top qualifier, 8 points for this, 6 points for that, it's because you go down the list, if they qualified good, looking at their qualifying position, add those points to them, they might be in a better position as far as the standings. So
Mm.
it's going to come in. That's going to be the defining thing for the backside of the season.
Right.
If everything stays very smooth and steady, those top qualifiers that are missing their 12 or 8 points or even the 6 points, that's going to be very important in the backside of the season. Because, dude, it's not a bad thing when you've kind of been like Chris Forsberg. Forsberg hasn't always had a year where he's made top podium.
Mm.
He's just been there, third places here and there, maybe an overall win, but he's a very consistent dude that'll kind of stay flatline, borderline benchmark. But when you look at the end of the year, it's like, how the hell is he in contention for for championship? It's because he's always consistent with his
Yeah.
qualifying. He always runs down to the top 8 or the final 4. And some guys get it, and some guys have terrible events, like Matt Fields. Matt Fields, for example, is a wreckers or checkers dude, and he doesn't specifically always wreck. But what I'm saying is, he's either got a very good event or he goes out. He's gone out in 32s before. He's gone out in top 16s, and for some guys, those qualifying points may be very important.
Yeah, man. And then like I don't recall, man. Matt, he didn't drive last year. Matt Field, did he?
hmm
He drove. What
But last year he had a terrible type of year.
did
He
he
was
have that
going out.
Corvette still, or is he had a different car? Because
Yeah, he's been refining that Corvette
yeah,
for a few years.
and he came out. He came out. He was looking pretty aggressive that first round, man. So I picked up right at the top 16 because I
Mm.
I had a late night before, and so 32s was going on while I was sleeping, and I woke up right as I was getting to the car because I was going there for something else. They were doing the Air Force recruiter thing, which I'm still trying to run with that because I guarantee you, man, I'm the only, to my knowledge, man, the only pro level drifter that's prior Air Force and also a combat vet. So
Served. Yeah.
let's do something together, man. They keep doing the do. So what do you think about cars? I like when they start up and make smoke noises. I'm like, the
I drove
fuck?
to the recruiting office in
Yeah,
one.
yeah. It was like you know what I'm talking about when they interview the guys and like, so you in the car? It's like, yeah, the Civic, with the D15 in it, and they're like, totally not
Mhm.
what we do here. We
I
don't.
like neon
Yeah,
SRT
yeah.
4s.
I'm like, dude, you guys interviewing all. I mean, but I understand they got to do their thing, and I'm pretty sure Air Force giving them a chunk of money and everything, but they can't give their own combat vets some money, so that's all good. But
Mm.
anyway, man, we'll see how that plays. But so for overall, man, again, top 16 is when I got into it. One thing I got to, I called them out. I just call it how I call it. When JTP, not JTP, but JR was going against a dude in the BMW, and the guy hit his wheel, and he kept going. They both kept going. I was saying, like, because the Tyler Hall cat, which again, I put in the thing, I'll be willing to talk to him or whatever if he's down for it. But from what I've seen online, man, it's just not looking favorable. How he was bailing out of a little bit of contact, and he would shut down. And if
Yeah.
the fact that I called it out right there, man, nobody really mentioned it, but the fact that JR took that contact wheel to wheel and they kept going, they both kept going. I'm like, man, that was some good driving. And then the what else? The yeah, man, it was just overall good, good driving. Nothing like out of the norm, spectacular. Is good track. I like that track. How it kind of double backed on itself, so it was a pretty good track, man.
Yeah, LZ was he had a good moment of clarity. He said he's not good at decelerating the car and going down that hill at full speed. He could not get in a consistent entry point because which is weird. He gives up a lot of game for a competitor. That's very transparent.
Right.
He says, I'm not good at looking at place markers, landmarks, places I feel I should. He said, I just listen to the engine, and when it gets to rev limiter in a certain gear, I initiate. So that gave him so many inconsistent entries. He flew off the track. He ran into people. And it was a very good hiccup or a very good learning point. And the fact that he was being transparent, saying that that's something he's not good at, I'm very certain he's going to work on that. So
was that his first time at that track?
yeah, stepped up to Pro 1, and that is wait, is that?
Well,
Yeah,
because in theory, like the way I'm looking at it, man, it's kind of like, not saying that of course, man. Anybody that drift Arendelle, man, they got skills. I mean, so we're not saying skills are there, but like all the tracks they've been driving has pretty much been like a kind of almost a figure eight into an infield type of joint.
right.
But that track is probably but the thing is, man, that's not a good analogy because he's driven in Japan, so he's definitely been on tracks, but then in power.
But bro, I'll tell you, the camera doesn't do Road Atlanta good. Road Atlanta is a roller coaster entry.
Yeah.
It's like going downhill and then you scrub. I mean, and think of, it didn't rain. Well, I don't know. It could have rained. Atlanta's very, very weird. If it rains, everything is down at the bottom of the track where you're trying to get on throttle and change directions. That place is very unique. And yes, they did not drive because Atlanta's always the beginning of the season, and since the season was so stifled last year, they forwent Atlanta, so they started. So yes, that is his first time driving in Atlanta, but I mean, he may have driven in elevations in Japan, but not that long. That is a long entry.
Seemed like the only one that would be So what you, because I could tell just by the angle of the car and everything. I think the only track that's similar to that, like kind of going down and then going in, is it beats you east, where the infamous track where they kind of go down. Everybody's manjing down there, and then they go to the right. They go to the, so that's the only thing. But that goes down. Atlanta goes down into you drift to the left.
To the left and then up a ass hill.
Oh, so it's actually up.
Yeah, so you go.
I never been
the
in.
Camera angles
it
don't.
Looks flat.
They don't. Nah, dog. So you go down a big ass roller coaster to an off camber flat, and then you transition to go up the hill, and up the hill is a long haul. Then you go around the keyhole, and as you come out of the keyhole, you're back downhill on a long run.
Oh shit, man! Yeah, that really
pick up Ellis. And that transition, like when he transitioned and damn near went backwards to try to keep the car on the track because he had so much speed going down there, he didn't really know where to bleed it off at.
Right.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Yeah,
you're basically drifting in a bowl.
Okay. It makes sense now then, man, because I was like I said, I knew the downhill part was down, but I thought once you got downhill it was like flat then back uphill. So they talking about the whole there's undulations inside of the. So you're doing, so it looked like from that point you can't. I mean, you might can, but it look like you can't see like the whole. You can't see the whole course.
Well, that different property of your vision when shit is at a angle, it looks mad short. But when you get down there and then you're like, oh, this is a long haul.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long haul all the way up.
Yeah.
Then you get up that thing and then you're looking like, oh, this, man, you start flying down there and you get down there. It's like way faster than I thought I was going to be. Where do I bleed the speed off? Like, you look at guys like Kyle Mohan. When you get put under that blanket of smoke, there are things you need to look at. And mainly it's going to be inside the smoke. This is the safe zone. Inwards towards the track. When you go out wide and you kind of don't know where you're at, next thing on the other side of that smoke is a hard ass wall. So, it's just like it's really tough to do what these guys do. You got to have real big nuts for those that send and put in all the positions. But man, when you don't want to, like, all right, I'm gonna shut it down when you're caught in a blanket. But man, if you don't have your spots picked and chose where to look at, if I get caught in this situation, you're gonna go end up on the other side of that smoke into something bad, which happened to Mohan, and that was a hard hit, dude. That was such a hard hit. Yeah, he's got a lot of work to get done on that car. They're probably good now because Orlando is this weekend. But yeah, I bet they've been working the whole time. They've been working the whole 2 weeks.
So you had on that. So it was Odie finished first. It was second was Matt, and then the third was
Mr. Getting.
Yeah. So you had man.
Then Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones, high.
Yeah, Jeff Jones is right in there and everything, man. So people was they were saying like he's people like he's always, all these guys are fucking talented, man. It's just like I said, man, putting everything together, and then guys are going. I kind of read through the Maximus a little bit, and they were like, with Mohan, he just kind of it was somebody brought up the thing about why is the rotary not competitive. And everybody, and I just kind of, I was like, man, I don't even want to click. It was like 66 comments when I seen it, and you were kind of being like, you were like, but you were like, there's reasons why, but you were like, all right, man, he's about to open up in a second, and then Brucey came in there and said things, and it was, everybody was chiming in, but then out of all those people chiming in, other than yourself, who's really, 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 really pushed rotaries and drifting, man, is so most of those guys there and everywhere else are speaking on hearsay and what buddies are saying. Reliability, this, and this. I'm like, actually, man, I'd rather blow a rotary engine and make it home, and I feel comfortable driving that low compression rotary engine on, just don't turn it off.
Guaranteed. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. As long as it's still running, you bump start that shit, it's going to run.
Piston engine, you spin the bearings. You got, as long as I drove with bearings was probably like 35 minutes, and then yeah, and I mean that was 35 minutes of spun bearing is a long time, man.
So let me elaborate on what I refused to elaborate on in that.
Because you were being very passive in there, man. Just like you didn't want to engage, because I was like, man, he gonna engage anytime soon.
Man, I closed the cover for the trigger button.
Yeah.
So Kyle Mohan, it's mainly him putting it together.
Right.
Right. He's a great driver. Able to qualify in the series. Never really qualified really high. But the thing is, I feel like he's putting together something that may be different than what his driving style is into. So funny story. This car has a certain width and length on wheelbase. If you took that same math and put it on the Mustang, that's exactly what JTP's Mustang is. Given the addition of the length and the width, it's the same dimensions as this car. So JTP's literally driving a big ass RX-7. Now, RX-8s are 107-inch wheelbase.
Real quick before that, on that, did he know that beforehand, before he picked that chassis, or kind of just
very weird? No, he didn't.
Okay, it's like that's some master guru shit right there. Like fucking in there with the sciences,
doing the science on it. So what ended up happening is it was just like, oh, this to clear, I want this much angle, so I need this much width to clear it, and the Mustang is a 109 or 110. It's a long wheelbase. So it's chaser wheelbase, right?
Right.
So it just was luck that those widths, and I told him, was like, yo, because we got this and this or whatever, right? And yeah, he's like, yo, that's crazy, because this is what the Mustang is, width versus length. It just happens on accident. And I feel like Kyle Mohan is driving a car that's too wide for the length. Have you ever driven a car that's like that's really wide, either via spacers or big old wide wheels, and see how that feels to drive?
Yeah. A lot of times, like people like the whole spacer thing and everything with the wheels and everything, basically in a nutshell, to not get too sciencey, man. When you're talking about like making the track wider than it's normally set to be, and you're doing it with like wheels and everything. So it'd be like kind of if you take like an F50 Ferrari or whatever and put like some fucking, if you can fit on there, put like some 7Js on there or some shit. So you got this wide ass car with these little ass rubber band wheels. Now you got all that weight is like in it. It's like it's weird. The car is this wide, and then if you turn, it's just gonna roll over those wheels. Then you make right. So you make he's making a wide. Well, it kind of like Danny George. That'll be like kind of the Miata. So the Miata had like is a small, short wheelbase car, but then like that shit was wide as fuck because he was trying to get the traction out of there, and Danny's a talented driver like most guys are, but it just never really worked out because it was just it was cool to look at, but it just didn't yield the results. You know what I mean?
Everything. Now all these drift cars do have spacers on them.
Right, yeah, and right there on the spacer shit, people, that shit kills me. When you got some fucking clown that carry me, like, man, I would never run space. Like, don't run fucking the bottom of the barrel, non-hub centric, non-conical 45-degree spacers that are from fucking the bottom barrel wish. Like, that's a different thing. We talking about pro guys. We talking about Daigo with fucking 50mm spacers on a fucking Murcielago.
Yeah, dude. Look at the Toyo cars.
Yeah,
Kawabata's car got spacers this fucking long on.
And you know why? The reason why is because there's no will, number one, that's feasible, that cost that you can make. And also drifters, real drifters, and this, I don't care who get offended at this, real drifters don't build their fucking car around wheels.
Around those fucking 13-inch wide wheels happening.
Because when you crack that wheel, you take that fucking spacer off. You ain't got time to fuck around. You take that spacer off, put that wheel on, and now you got your, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? If the body's fucked up and you can't move it out. Now if you got that goddamn 18 by 10 like minus fucking, and it fits that car, what are you gonna do when all your wheels are fucking 18 by 10 minus 30?
But now it's like, so this style, right?
Yeah.
This style of car is 2002, 2007.
Right.
I've got really wide fenders on it now.
Right.
They're 45 mil, 50 mil-ish in the back, and 40 in the front. Because we've ran a 10-inch wide wheel in the back, I do have a 25 mil spacer on it.
Right.
But I run a 10 and a half with a 15 offset in the back, and I run a 265 on it.
Right.
In the back. Front, I have a 17 by 9.5. I have a 10 mil. Yeah, I have a 10 mil in the front, and I run 245s on it.
Right.
So for an FC, which is a tiny car, which comes on 7-inch wide wheel and tire.
You look at that shit. Look at the stock dimensions that all these cars come with.
Right.
Like
right.
8.5 was like pushing it.
Yeah, it was pushing it. But then you have a car like the RX-8 without a wide body, it could take a 10.5.
Yeah.
Easy. And so then when you're adding a 70 mil Rocket Bunny kit or over fender, bruh, what do you think you're feeling that?
Yeah.
It's basic.
Yeah. So like, and I guarantee you, in that car behind you, man, you got proper either hub centric or lug centric spacers, and a lot of cats don't even like. They don't even, again, man. Most guys that are talking shit don't know what they're talking about, and like they got the wrong. They don't know, like they think a lug nut's a lug nut. You got different degrees. You got lug nuts that have like, you know, like one car I hate to work. Well, stock wheels is like the GTO. They use like it uses that lug nut that has that slim. It fits right into the goddamn wheel, and it locks into the lug. So it's like you can't run any kind of other lug nut but that one. I hate those.
Right.
But most of the aftermarket shits, they're either slim lug or they're fucking regular 17, 19, 21 mil. You know, most are around 19 or 17 to give you a little bit of space, so you're not touching the paint. But yeah, man, like guys trip me out. Like it's one of those things where I used to say shit about it, but now it's like, man, why? Because like we know what it is. Like again, when you got to do like Daigo with fucking 50 mil spacers on again a supercar. Okay, your argument is invalid. He definitely can afford wheels.
That part. And then the nerd thing that I learned about, because I was I'm putting a same suspension on the track RX-8 on the street RX-8. But when I call Phil and you tell him all that, hey, I'm wide body. Well, how much wider? It's about 50 mil. Okay, can't do this. And then they run the science to me. So what drift guys do, they run longer control arms, extended control arms. Right. Say I've got a whatever shock, it's valved for whatever, and it's got a 7K spring on it. This is my regular control arm. This control arm is this long, right? And it's pushing up on the suspension with this much leverage. It connected to the body here, suspension's here, wheels here. So this suspension is using this much press. Now you add this much more onto that same suspension. This shit don't got a chance. It's a lap city, and the car looks soft as hell now because you added so much more leverage. Now what Phil does is great. Okay, you're this much weight, you're this much wheel and tire. This is what you're using it for. Boom, wizardry, scientist. Here's your suspension, spring rates, this type of shock oil in it, whatever. So I just think there's things that Kyle Mohan can do to make the car a little more drivable, a little more science involved, and he's got great power. That car does not need, because we know rotary got those weird ponies in them. You can have 400 horsepower rotary keeping up with a 700 horsepower car.
Yeah.
right? So the same goes up and up in the range of power and up in the range of rotors. That 800 or 700 horsepower rotary could probably jam pretty good with a 1,000 horsepower car, just as long as all the science has been scienced
Mm.
and the driver makes it work in his driving fashion. I've timed Kyle Mohan. What we used to do is from the start, time him when he moves on acceleration to initiation, those three initiation cones. When he hits those, the first cone was what I timed, not when he initiated. I'd have a time there. His time would be in the top 5 of acceleration from the grid to the start. Let's just say Orlando, because that's where they're going next. By the time he hit that bowl to go in the bank, from where he hit that cone to initiating to coming around to the outside zone, he'd be in the bottom 5 of speed and pace around the bank.
Mm.
Now, why is that? He was left foot braking. The car seemed unstable. Maybe that's why he's left foot braking to stable it up. Then he lets off of it when he feels comfortable, and then he's going through the infield and bouncing around and bobbling, and then he gets to try to set the car in the outer zone, and the car maybe doesn't sit in the outer zone good enough on the inner bank, and he's left foot braking again. The faster guys, Vaughn, Chelsea, um, James Dean,
Mm.
they're standing on throttle only. The car is staying set put where they're at, and they were blazing through there super fast. There's a certain point in time where doing the same thing hasn't worked. It's showing to not work. It's going to continue to not work. If you keep doing it, it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
So I think Kyle Mohan is a good driver. He's a good builder. He's a great sportsman. Guy always has a good attitude going on. If he gets knocked out, he's in the pits, revving, entertaining the crowd, giving merch.
Yeah.
He's a
It just seems like it is, everybody got their reason and different motivations to do it. I'll speak on mine personally, man. Like my of course being competitive, in nature and everything, and always competing and stuff like that. Is this some people who have to compete. I'm one of those guys that I like to compete. But my reason for doing like what I'm doing here is like I don't have to fucking do like most people do like the D1 stuff or whatever to kind of raise their status or to try to get that next pickup or whatever. My thing, I'm doing it simply to is just a extension of my shop. I don't have to do it, and also I got a person. It's like my personal thing is just I've been there for a little time in Japan, man, and like I call it how it is, man. Japanese, as nice and pleasant as they seem, man, they just look down on everybody else outside of Japan. So I have like a personal vendetta type of deal. Even in my personal track, in my local track, man, like the vibes are all fucked up. Like when I go there, I'm there. I'm an OG, and I don't conversate with the OGs there. I'm up there with the new guys because I don't even want to be in that environment because, like we said before, I'm going to if something's wrong, I'm going to say something. Then not being able to chop it up with a dude in a different language, it's already I can't even argue with you because we can't speak the same language. Body language is what it is, but so I got my own personal thing out there where I'm doing what I'm doing and everything, and then like with Kyle, LZ, a few other guys like LZ, the reason why he can devote so much stuff is because honestly it's just another vlog. It's another something fun to do. He has the funds to do it, but that's not gonna make or break him. What he's doing.
Isn't that cool as shit though?
Right.
Like think of the guys that are like really, this guy LZ works hard, right? So guys that are pretty much funding it on their own dime for the most part, just like LZ is, and he pulled the ultimate power move.
Oh yeah,
he pulled a Mike
there,
Power, pulled the sponsors off. My name is on my door now, but think about it. Depending on what it costs for the season for that round for him, the content is 100% paying for it.
Right.
Like let's just say he makes $10,000 between the two vlogs for that weekend, right? He gonna give you this is the first day setup qualifying, and then he's gonna give you this is comp day, and all done. What do I think? These two vlogs might have paid for that that whole day, and then he merged, and it's like I don't think anybody. I think everybody is warmed up to him, comfortable with him, and welcome. Because they see he's working on it. He's actually I mean, I think what did he get? 8th or 10th or something this round? But it's like he's a real deal driver. Treat him as such. But yeah, he's got a camera with him or a camera crew with him that is not associated with Formula D, and this is his life. As you're working and you are focused on getting your drive together, he's working, focusing on getting his drive together, and he's making content, right? So I think that's really cool that he's able to do that he's able to mix it up in that way. And plus, he's got a homie from Yashio Factory, Oka-chan. He said him and that Samet dude are the main reasons he got back to drifting. So when everybody was complaining about, LZ got this whatever Yashio Factory body kit and aero, why didn't he put a sticker on the car? Well, he has a sticker on the car, but also that's like, okay, I repainted this car, I redid this car, I may have broke a window, hotline isn't on the car anymore. That does not mean this isn't a hotline car. That does not mean I'm being disrespectful to my homeboy that built the car with me. We know this is a hotline car. You know what I'm saying? There's no change. You could look at this car, see how it sits, see how it runs, look at the interior. This is a hotline car, right? It's the same with the Injuku. Oh, no, it's not. Injuku's still in the car. Like in my cage, it's ghosted. It's ghost painted. He put a sticker in there, painted a certain color, pulled the sticker off, painted it, another color or whatever. So we've got hotline ghosted in my cage. There's places all over that car that say Injuku. And if they've had a good situation, a conversation, and this is why pulling stickers off, they already knew about it. It's good to go. Same with Yashio Factory.
But
they're now. Yeah. So yeah, here, take this body kit, represent my company. I love it.
Well, again, with that stuff right there, man. Again, I know who this Samet is, by his videos and everything, and it's just like one of those things, man. People, they just getting this. Like I could be like, what I mean. I was here years before LZ ever set foot in Japan, and then like I'm like, I don't see why people even put their, what I mean. Why they even like. I don't know, man. Why do people invest so much energy and time in the shit that don't matter? It doesn't, what I mean? Like, I could be like, oh, man, I've been doing this as long here, and Oka-chan don't know me. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's seen me in the magazine, but it is what it is. I'll cross paths with him when I cross paths with him. Same thing like I was mentioning about, I seen, it was T-Pain and WitchCom at, and Mad Mike at Atlanta. Yeah. And it's like I see all the dudes like atting him this and atting him that and everything. And I hit him up, like I said, I hit up T-Pain in his inbox right when he first started doing it, when he got the S14. And I was like, hey man, like welcome to the thing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm here in Japan, blah, not shooting my shot because I'm like, I'm not trying to shoot a fucking shot. I'm just connecting with a dude. Like you say, we talked about before, you send that DM out or whatever, and then it is what it is. They respond. Maybe they respond. Maybe I'm talking about it now. Maybe he'll be like, "Oh shit, let me go through this and see this or whatever." And it's like, you know what I mean?
Remember, right? He just popped up saying he didn't know how to use his DMs.
Yeah, man. So people, like you say, some people take it to heart. You know what I mean? I seen him on LZ on I think he was on Maximus recently or something like that. I didn't check it out, but the man, it's what I'm saying in a nutshell, man, to make sense is there's dudes in the game, and when you get in the game for a long time, you become a gatekeeper. You got a little bit, you won a couple events here and there, and dudes feel like, they've been slighted because a dude just came in a game and he's already, in the picture you sent me, it was him and Osbo and LZ. So all these, and he's right in the center. He's in the
Yeah.
center, and then all
He's
the
in the center of the
yeah,
OG
like bro,
outside.
it comes down to money and what you bring in, man. And like obviously, like I take it like this: I'm working hard as fuck, but if they not responding to me or doing whatever, it's obviously I'm not doing on in their spectrum or whatever, you know.
Or you just don't have the visual reach because
Right? Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
I've
true.
had to deal with that myself
Yeah,
internally a lot. It's like, dog,
yeah.
when I
Who's
was
gonna
a
see it?
fresh driver,
Yeah.
I would say when I was a fresh driver, I would say I'm better than him.
Mm,
I've actually beat him. The hell? But as I calmed my ego down, I'm like, I don't really care
mm,
because my goal may not be what his goal is. He's making himself more visible. Um, I may not be. It's always, you just may not be putting in as much work
mm,
or may not have the most visible situation going on compared to what they are. They may get caught in the algorithm.
mm,
There's dudes that okay, so let's say I'm trying to make my YouTube pop
mm,
and I want to make it pop just off pure motorcycles. I can go out and like the video I sent you, film that 5 days a week, right? Go ride in different places, never speak, but just be absolutely treacherously dangerous.
mm,
I can get my YouTube channel busting off of that.
mm,
I can market it. I can do, you know what I mean? I can get it visible, share it to, just send it in a DM to certain motorcycle pages. In certain ways, there is groundwork avenues that you can make that work at. So once it does take, it gets caught in the algorithm, boom, you could take off. But for guys like you and I, a little too busy, family happens, and then it's like, oh, let me get to what I like to do and go drive and shit like that. It's just kind of like, my last couple of vlogs have just been like, I've already been at the track for the last 2-3 hours. Oh yeah, let me cut the camera on. It's lunchtime.
mm.
Hey, we've been here.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
It's spreading. I'm
yeah.
this close off of breaking the record. I took my wife out, and so I'm just kind of putting the footage in as I'm speaking on it, because it's kind of like, uh, especially on like these Wednesday night drifts. I've been working all week. This is the middle of the week. I got home from work at 3. I loaded the car on the trailer. I put my tools and everything on there. I hooked up. Now I'm driving to the track. I get there, and it's like I ain't really got the time to pull the camera out and or set it all up, you
Mm,
know. And for guys that originally started with doing that, it's so ingrained in them to do. It's supernatural. For us, that it's a secondary thought. We're more work first, promote,
mm,
entertain, network later, um so I just think, like, as I learned to deal with my shit, like, I'm better than him. I put in more work. I've driven more events. I've battled more credible people. I've been through wars with my shit. I've kept my shit running for 10 years. Nobody gives a fuck about that.
mm. Well, it's,
Nobody.
it's the new demographic, man. Because like again, you trying to appeal. Like I look at mine on my analytics, it's 25 to 34 is like 25 to 34 and 100% males. I have 0 female subscribers, 0.
We got to figure out how
Yeah,
to
man.
get
So it's
the
like,
checks, man.
but but you see my the last 4 videos. You notice you probably noticed the trend. It's like before I used to kind of, my videos were like around about 15, 20 minutes. And I would mix. And it was pretty much like when I first started, it was just like I never was on camera. So like for 2006 to like 2006 to like 2011, I was never talking on my videos. It was just videos.
Right.
It was just like videos. And then around 2000, when I got out the military, guys was like, "Hey man, you should do like a little thing or whatever." And I did it, and I was like, and it started getting like a little bit of buzz. And then YouTube changed the algorithm and things like that. So I mean, what I started doing, it was like either nothing or I started doing the 5-minute jab. So like that That event,
Hmm.
that joint, I went out there. I literally did. It wasn't no fucking editing. I just literally did 3 takes.
Right.
I did three
The
like
K Sport one
the
or
case for one. It was literally like
uh
I went up, we raised it up, I went out and I came back and so it wasn't like I was doing take after take. It was literally like
right.
15 minutes worth of shot shooting, like 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
max, and then after that, I just went home and chopped it up that same day and put it up. And it's like, and that right there, it correlates to the new guys because new guys ain't really got they don't. I mean, again, LZ shit, you know, it is what it is when the length, and then like I noticed, Brap stuff is like 10 to 16 to 20 minutes. They kind of don't really go over 25 because after that point you start losing your watchers.
Yeah, there's an attention
Yeah.
def
So
like
I was like, man, why the
I,
fuck he doing these 10-minute video? I'm like, down, like, yeah, that makes sense. So I was like, you know, it's either short videos or nothing at all for me now. So it's
right.
pretty
I
much,
started doing
yeah,
7 minutes.
yeah,
Then they were like, "Oh, you can't have you know, breaks, ad breaks." So
right,
I'm
right,
like,
right, right,
"Okay."
right.
Then it's 9 minutes. You could do ad breaks. I'm like, "All right, cool." Now there's a new update where we can cuss, but it can't be after. It can't be any further ahead than 2 minutes into the video.
Right.
Then you can only say specific words 2 times.
Mm.
You can say these words quite a bit. And this was like, okay, cool. So now I'm like, well, now I need to make these just intense videos. I don't need to, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
my style, like I'm gonna make this real intense shit, then get a little breather, and then to something even wilder. So
mm.
like a lot of my videos lately have been a mashup of a couple of days. I did this, then I did this. I didn't film anything talking about anything, so let me voice it over. Let me make an intro. Let me make an outro. And it's just like you got to figure it out. Adam has a very good niche.
Mm.
All of his shit super consistent. He's put the money into it, the camera equipment, and then a film crew to make shit better. His girl films.
Right.
She films for him now. So it's just like
Yeah,
there's so
when
many.
you're not the dude holding the camera and then going home
Yeah,
and that's what we do. So we do like
yeah.
I got two Go basically my cameras is like because I don't even now the technology that we talked about before, man. I had this big ass bag before. I had the high A tapes. Then you have the
Hmm.
HD, and then now like I just got the Go, and the quality is good. I got the Wi-Fi mics now, so like you know because that's the
Oh
biggest
yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's the biggest
Yes,
like your
the
biggest thing out
mic.
there, guys, who make videos is your audio. Because if your
Hmm.
audio is like shit tacular,
Hmm.
you know the visuals gonna always look good because almost everything now shoots 1080p. I mean
Right.
4K with most
Yo, do you
iPhones.
know how many of these YouTubers is
Yeah,
just on their
just the
phone?
phone. Yeah, just the phone.
I'm like, I've been doing it hella wrong.
Yeah,
I'm,
just the phone.
and,
Or just buy an iPhone with no plan on it just for the camera.
and just film.
Yeah.
Literally, you know what? All of my old iPhones, and I'm giving up some game. All of my old iPhones, they are film rigs now.
Mm.
Mic on it, the
Oh,
the
lost your
light
light.
ring. Oh yeah, that shit fell. But mic on, light ring, all of the shit, and a battery pack that runs all of it. So that's that's pretty much
Yeah,
what these YouTube.
technology, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's I didn't know it. I always thought I had to do all of this super duper extra stuff,
Mm.
and no, I could just do the minimum,
Yeah.
and it's fine. And so that gives you a different realm of entertainer. Like the entertainer is going to be doing something way different than what most guys are doing. Damn.
Yeah.
Um
It's like give me your license registration. It's
yeah,
like
sir. Please. I can't see. So yeah, they're going to be doing a little bit of a different type of production than um original guys do. Like this guy I watched motorcycle dude 650 Ebe.
Mm.
Dope dude. Buys every motorcycle out, reviews them, rides them. The ones he doesn't want to keep, he does giveaways. But as a journalist now that he's known as, he gets invited to motorcycle press releases. Like he's in Atlanta right now testing the new Yamaha R7, which god damn it, I'm gonna have to buy. And he walks around with his damn iPhone on a gimbal. I'm like, wow, dude, there, and then editing it right there on the phone. Like I do that a lot actually. I'll edit right off the phone, just because it gives me something to do when I have downtime. I keep a ton of footage on the phone, and I'll just go ahead and edit it, and then when I get to the house, I'll throw it, airdrop it on either my iPad or my MacBook, and finish it up, and then just leave that shit uploading as I go to work. It's like once you get really efficient in this thing, you can do a world of shit. And I like it. It's pretty tight.
Hmm.
And then having a team of people that would do it, like imagine if my son did my editing, I could just be like,
Yeah.
"Yo, I'm about to
Yeah.
airdrop you mad shit, yo."
Yeah, you can't regardless of that, you can't compare. It's just like you gotta do what you gotta do, man. It's like you're involved in what you're involved in. I got my, what I mean. It's just kind of, what I mean. Not get into my numbers and because that's my, I don't. Yeah, some people are fine putting their finances out there in the public, but it's like, dude, I'm sustaining. My family is good. My business is still running naturally, so obviously I'm doing okay. And it's like,
Mm,
and people got to realize that grind, like I said, that the reason, like I said, you're correct about the length of the videos and ads. Actually,
mm,
I don't even put ad breaks in mine, to be honest, because it's like the reason why I'm putting mine up there, like I have what 6,000, 7,000 subscribers or whatever, but I
mhm.
still for the videos I put up, I'm getting customers. So if I would
Yeah,
say money wise customers from YouTube, I don't. I'm making money. It's just I'm not making the money from YouTube, and I think a lot of people are getting it confused where they feel like they need to be making mass dollars from YouTube. I'm like, man, that ship is sailed, man. Little dude, the little kid got killed. Like he really that one kid was the kid, man, who had that channel with like 8 million subscribers and stuff like that, like Joshua or something like that, or like he was the toy review kid.
oh, really?
Yeah,
They died?
no, he was making so much money, and all these other channels started making a kid review stuff, and it started.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. They got in his trap. They
Yeah,
took his trap.
yeah. So he,
Yeah.
what I mean,
Yep.
it's like there was like if it's kid related or something, you can't, you know, you can't monetize off of this or blah blah blah. Like, dude, they giving away a lot of money, man. They making a lot of money, but they giving a lot of money away too. So YouTube is gonna do whatever they're gonna do to keep more money in their pockets, man.
Well, I mean, like that email said, the email said that they're trying to make sure that more creators' videos get monetized. You get the green dollar sign instead of the yellow dollar sign,
Right.
which means ain't no bread going to you. You get a couple of cents.
Mm.
Everything else going to somebody else. But those changes are made, which is pretty cool. I don't know why they went so restrictive because yeah, 2, 3 years ago, there was a ton of money being made
Right.
on YouTube. Well, I'll say more than 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe let's say about 4 or 5. Then it kind of slowed down, and guys had to really grind hard.
Right.
And now, possibly, potentially, it's picking back up to the money side of the creators.
Mm.
So that'll be cool. But you
Yeah,
know,
it's gonna come down to shortly. Before it was no like I mean before when YouTube first launched there was dollar signs nowhere in it. Nobody was. I mean, I'm sure they were having ads in there and stuff like that, but only they were making money. So they opened it up to hey, contenters can now make money. Now you can do MCMs and all that stuff like that. And it's like shortly it's going to get to the point because to weed it out, to have a print, to monetize, you're gonna have to pay a monthly fee like off the rip. They,
oh yeah, yeah,
they're gonna get
yeah,
to that. You know what I mean? And it's like because right now it's like, dude, how many channels are open per day? Because half the people don't realize half the YouTube accounts are not. They don't have any videos. They just comment or watch shit.
yeah. It's a social
So
media
you
essentially.
click on their shit and they have zero videos.
No
And then
picture. Yeah.
then you'll see like other dudes like it happened to me. I'm pretty sure it happened to you. They be like, "Oh, Pinku style, what you doing here, man? Why you like, dude? I'm into MMA. I'm into this. I'm into that." And dudes,
Hmm.
so it'd be two card guys like, "Hey, man, I didn't know you was into this shit or into Mars shit." And it was like I just commented because that's my profile, and also that
Yeah.
shit gets you subs too. That's another back. That's another back thing people don't realize. You comment,
It's
that
fun
comment blows up, and then let me click on this link, subs.
because I'm a big lurk boy,
Yeah,
right? On Instagram, I look at everything. I don't like things, but I will like certain things, but I never comment.
yeah.
And randomness, I commented on this cat just dropping a new podcast, and people were like, "Oh shit, what's up? You on podcast? You do podcasts? You drive? You ride motorcycles? Let me find out you be listening to these podcasts." I'm like, "Oh, this is what I do." And I'm like, "How the hell, people seeing me and familiar with me just in the comments?" I was like, well, maybe I should do this a little bit more because, yeah, I rarely comment on people's stuff and I rarely hit that like button, but I lurk. I know what you're doing, and if we talk, I can, oh, yeah, I saw you, woo, woo, but it's like, maybe I should start getting more interaction and, spreading out because, it's really weird when I see something that I think is far left field, like I'm way out in the brush commenting on something. Good thing I don't be liking on no bitches and naked, bro.
Yeah, that
Right?
no matter how good they look, I just can't do that.
Never.
Dude. I can't.
Ever.
I'll be wanting to like, because I'm like number one.
Rolling up and you be like,
number one, like,
okay, back over.
Yeah, number one, when you do that shit, I mean, and it's just hey man, it's not being a bitch out there, guys, but don't make your relationship more harder than it already has to be. So just don't do it.
Right.
Because when your wife, I mean, if you ain't got the restrictive account, my wife can see anything I like or whatever. So it's like you click on that, then like, oh, I noticed you clicked on this. Like, oh man, you gotta. It ain't even. It's just that's my boy's girl, but she don't want to hear that shit. It's like,
hey,
yeah.
You know how many times that's really the case?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my
any girl I got on my shit is a girlfriend, or shit. I got some ex couples on my shit too. That's a weird situation.
Yeah, they mess with each other. My homeboy going through a divorce right now.
You got both of them on your shits.
Yeah, and I hate him and his wife, or not him and his wife, but his wife posting pictures with the kids, and I'd be like, that sucks, yo. I know if I'm thinking about it, he's thinking about it. Like,
yeah. So that whole shit right there, man, it gets you up in the mix, man. Like it just, but then you be seeing some dudes, then like you thirsty as shit, man. Like she reformed her body, and like I got a few like military car chicks on my joint, and like one girl, man, I ain't gonna say her name, man, but she has some little boobs, right? And then her car got sold, and the next thing I know, her boobs got really bigger. So she sold her car.
Grande cheese, huh?
She sold her car and got them implants. I'm like,
stole her whip, went straight to tits.
Then she's
She'll
like,
get a ride.
This shit me back up like I want to get in. I was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready when you are, and everything. So she want to get it, replace the car after she get the money back. So I'm like, hey man, like I guess you enjoy that car that much and everything. But I was like, man, I don't remember her shit being that big because she had she was military. So the military, I'm not sure if you know, the military uniform is not really flattering to the female body.
Right.
So when you see him out of uniform, I'm like, damn, where'd that come from? Or you know what I mean? Like I'm like, I seen a few chicks. I'm like, damn, dude, I didn't know she was like that.
Yeah, man. Some of them hop out of them joints and be like, joints.
Yeah, man. That's.
Hey, you know what I wanted to talk about? Because I'm looking at this. I'm going through the RX-7 Club, talking about some bent tie rod joints. Yo, how did you? So tell me about the RX-8. You drove the RX-8. Yeah. We kind of you actually we went on this whole talk about. So yeah, man, the RX-8. In a nutshell, you gotta, like I said, that bitch is it. It's not as bigger than the Hachiroku. Is I think it got more power. Yeah, it has more power than the stock 4AG. But it's like, the way the dynamics of power go down. I could tell I did a few grip laps, and I could definitely feel like I could definitely like get down with grip only. But trying to push that thing in the drift, like you gotta manhandle that motherfucker, man. Like you gotta. It's not gonna you can't just throw it in there and lazily wait for the boost to come in. Like you gotta earn every second of that shit. You do. Yeah. That's a great way to put it. You have to earn every second of it. It's it was pretty funny to see your response. You hopped out. You said, this ain't for me.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm getting too old for this shit, man. Like then you get like some shit like a chaser where I'm not sure if you've driven a chaser yet, man, but the chasers, like, they're so big and their steering is so fluid, it's so liquid. Like it's effort. Like when you drive the car, the wheel just spins. You're just driving. The wheel just you're doing the 3-point turn in a parking lot, the wheel just it spins so quickly, and like you get into Subarus that Subarus and Mitsubishi got different feelings with the wheel connect. I did with the RX-8. I did feel a connection there, but I could tell like it just had teen suspension and that was it. And I could tell, man, it was like a lot of shit was creaking and cracking, and there was no rigidity in it. And I was like, man, this thing making a bunch of sounds and shit, but it kept going. And one thing is like, no matter how hard I pushed the fucking throttle, man, the engine's like, okay, I was like, okay, dude, I'm good on this shit. So it'll rev, and I'm like, man, like the revs I was giving it, I was like, man, this is a piston engine. Depending on what kind of engine it is, what condition, you would have like some, yeah. So like, yeah.
It wouldn't be nice, if it wasn't, right, if it was a non-cared for old motor sitting up that high in the RPMs, because you don't even have to bang it off of the limiter, which is like 9.4, not 6.
Yeah, I didn't touch it. I mean, no, I didn't touch it because pretty much my thing is limiter. You need to shift up, but it was pretty much the way the track and while I was the area I was drifting. I pretty much it was second gear, which was weird because normally you want to go to third gear to go faster, but the second gear and it was like the entries and like I would rev it up and then right when I'm about to hit about ready to, I'm lifting off. So I was pretty much second gearing the whole track and everything, man. And then like it was definitely going at one joint. I don't know if you see when the car slid across the front of there was a camera. It was like right at the apex, right at the clipping point. Dude, that shit right there was like probably like I was going into third and then back down to second, so it would just go in. So it was fun. I mean, first time drifting one, but the first 2 laps, I'm like, what the fuck, man? And then I'm like, man, fuck this shit. This, it's just a toy car or whatever to me right now. And
right.
Then I just went hard.
Think about the interior dimensions.
Yeah.
You got the handbrake on your side in your car, but what did you think about the
the handbrake did? The e-brake sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was I had to like. I'm like, and the cool thing is it got that little. You gotta put your hand into like a fucking saber.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was cool because you kind of could put your hand in there and like the button was cool. But then like I'm pulling that bit. But again, of course, when you're going fast enough, and you throw it sideways, the e-brake is just to help it a little bit. So I wasn't pulling the e-brake to initiate. I was just kind of pulling it to help it to get sideways. But no, man, that car is simply, you just gotta go fast. RX-8 is a car where I want to say it's not a beginner. It's not a car. I wouldn't put a beginner in it. Let's just say that because they got it's like they don't have those skills yet. So that would ruin. That would probably for a beginner. I think that car would be like, nah, man. They'll think all drifting cars are like that.
Yeah, you got to put a lot of effort in that. A lot of throttle. Yeah. A lot of really like trusting that you're gonna get the wheel speed,
right?
Especially like on long corners that you're gonna use as a link,
instead
of dropping a dory between, and you just stand on it, and it's like, come on, girl, you gotta get the slightest angle that you got, and it'll happen.
And then you hear the little pump was going off. Like, what the fuck's that noise? Like, okay, when you get like a certain RPM, you hear like this extra little noise. Then I guess that was the pump doing this thing. Like, dude, we working. That pump, the pump think he's on a highway, but you're sideways, and that shit trying to like suck out that fucking emissions and stuff like that. So you hear the pump kick on, and there's a pump and there's air pump in there, correct? When they yeah.
Just like an S2000, when you cut an S2000 on, you hear that just fucking huge air draw.
Yeah.
They have that BS going on. But, it was funny to see you do that. And then you jumped out of that into the FD.
Yeah.
Do you kind of see where the... Well, yeah, obviously a rotary with a hairdryer on it just feels amazing. But... do you kind of see where, as the Renesis has, if it was stock to stock, the Renesis would have the most horsepower, but it does not have the torque. But then when you have a boosted rotary, it's got more than enough torque to get active. So
that was actually my like I said, my first time. Actually, I've driven a bunch of RX-7s in a straight line. Like that's all day. But the like I just like for whatever reason my scheduling or whatever, I just never drifted one, and I was this is spinning around, man. I was like, man, this shit's definitely is a different when you come from all these different piston engines and stuff like that, and the different dynamics of drifting a car. Like I'm definitely gonna build. I got a couple here if I don't sell them off to keep to do whatever I got to do. But the yeah, man, it's definitely a I could just feel it. It's smooth. It's smooth. That's all I can.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the words for it. It's just smooth and a power. My buddy's car needs a little bit of work. He needs a clutch. He needs the rear diff bushings, and it's a higher mileage engine. You know what I mean? So, but I could, and I've driven some linear powered straight ones and everything, but I could just tell it would even with the engine being high mileage, it was still once the boost hits, it's just there. But once you lose it, it's kind of different to get it back. If that makes sense, you kind of got a clutch kick back into it. But then again,
I was gonna say just a quick little clutch kick.
Yeah, and it's like right back. Yeah, it's right back into it. Yeah. So I didn't know if that was because this car was tired.
No, that's literally just how they are.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was like,
it was funny because when I picked up my other RX-8, I'm working on all this process to get that thing ready to go hit the track, and and I picked it up and I felt a little vibration in the shifter. I'm like, whatever, I'll figure it out later. Then I drove it to go do something real quick, and it was hella vibration in shifter. I'm like, nah, this ain't cool. Called the dude up, did the work. I said, you got to fix this shit. What's wrong? I was like, bruh, these cars are smooth as glass. It's like a freight train rolling down the rails. You don't feel anything. There's no vibration. The fact that it has vibration means there is something tremendously wrong. He got up under there, and I think how he put the that I-beam, that torque beam that holds the trans to the diff, put it in a little weird, and it was kinked or something, and it may have had some imperfection in the drive shaft going into the back of the transmission. I could feel that all through the shifter. I was like, that shit ain't right. And I've done the transmission job before, so I mean, I know how to get it all in and make it work how it's supposed to. But yeah, he fixed that, and that's just how it is with drifting. When you drift them, man, you're literally gliding. There's no engine vibration. That's why I love them so much. And it's like, dude, you'll be sideways in the mix. You hear the engine screaming and all of the stuff, but there is no vibration.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. Getting at the smooth part, because I was like, for the RPMs, I never looked at the attack once. It's just one of those things like you can hear the engine, and you can even hear if it's close to. But it's like when I went on the back part of the track, and it was just like the camera wasn't. I had the fucking. I had the wireless in, so that it only picks up when you're 30 feet away, so there was no audio. But I was going around the back, and it's like I'm used to like feeling some kind of vibration. You know what I'm saying? Like some kind of movement to show that you're at 8,000 RPMs with a six cylinder. Yeah. So I mean, it's still smooth and relative smoothness, but. Yeah, man, I was impressed at the smoothness, and also when I got into the FD the second time and did the other video, because that actually was the second day. That first day we were going to do it, but I ran out of time. So the last video you seen with the FD that was last weekend. The RX-8 was the week before that, and so yeah, even with the it was just smooth, man. Like you just throttle around and you just throttle down and turn the car like a tumbler. And spin around and stuff like that, man. So it was cool. If you watch the video, naturally the higher up car was the higher height was a little bit much, and then as you get lower down. So if you watch it back, you can see I came around and I actually people was actually why I did a wide circle, because I wanted to show like the body transfer. So I did wide on purpose on each one of them. Then if you look at the video, you notice the low one finished first, and then the mid one finished second, and then the top one finished last when they all got to the cone, because it was just there was more traction, there was more lower center of gravity, and it was more quicker. So you can kind of see right there in the test. So a lot of people, if you watch the test and you watch it, you see different things versus like when it stops, and I didn't even explain when I was stopping the dive. So most people that see
Right.
me doing they be like, man, that's not a. How can you get data out of going around cones? I'm like, you get a lot of data out of that.
Oh yeah.
Look at the squat, look at the distance between the wheel. So like, I'm pretty sure the guys who needed to get that information got it because I didn't
They
see
got
anybody else make a video like this, so that's why I did it. So hopefully it gets some sales and people see the difference in the and that's not even air suspension. That's just suspension overall because
Mm-hmm.
height is height. It doesn't it's sitting on air and everything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they got all that. They got all that stuff, man. But hey, man, I'm about to go check my clock, man. 'Cause I got a dude rolling in here in a second and everything. So we're gonna be doing this again tomorrow. And
Yeah, we're gonna jump on
It's
tomorrow.
weird. It's weird. So I got to knock out everything I got because I will have no. There will be no fucking. If anybody show up my lot that's unannounced, they must look at them on a Scarface camera and keep rolling. So
Yeah, I got my Scarface set up right here.
we
That's
got
what I'm
cameras too.
looking at.
Yeah. That's why every
hell
time
yeah.
if people like wonder why I was look over here, because some like I didn't put my cones out, and for whatever reason, my lot is the U-turn lot. It's like it's a lot. There's a lot where so they can't because I had dudes go all the way in the back of my lot before. I'm like, dude, what the fuck you doing? You just do a 3-point right there in the entry and go about your business. And so I keep looking over there because dudes are coming a lot and shit and everything. So
Yeah, so tomorrow will be pretty
oh
exciting.
yeah, man. So yeah, we'll
Middle of that RB Jay-Z debate, we're gonna get
yeah.
two RB heavy hitters on.
Yeah, man. So it'll be cool. So as far as that, I'm gonna try to chop. Not try. I gotta. Yeah, I'm gonna get this chopped up and online by. So this is going to be. So this one is going to be rolling tomorrow while we in the podcast. So, yeah. So I got it, and again, man, to close it out, man, because you mentioned, and that's why, I mean, value your friendship, man, because you kept it real, like you just, as far as the, I mean, the visual stuff, and it's just like, I'm doing what I'm doing over here running international business. I know I'm good to go. I know I'm making history or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, man, guys are there, man, like you don't look at other people out there and be like, hey, man, I'm fucking doing 19 hours a day, 18 hours a day working. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I don't eat. And I'm grinding, I'm doing all this stuff. Why am I not on that level? It's just like, hey, it's timing. It's, what I mean? Also, it comes down to, it comes down, I don't know LZ and all those cats and Samet guys, but they might be willing to go out and go to that shop and ask the guy. And I could do the same thing, but I just don't feel like I need to. And that could be pride, that could be ego. Not say it, not could be, it is. It's just like, I'm not gonna the way I run my shit here, and people ask why I don't go to all these shops. If one of those guys came up here to Masawa, they probably wouldn't even think twice about coming to my shop. It'd be what I mean. They got cars around. Same thing. I got a bunch of cars. I got a bunch of stuff. I don't need to see it at a top secret. I do the same shit. So I don't personally feel a need to go there and be a fanboy. That's just my psyche. I'm not wrong on it. It's just my thing. So. I mean, I could have been hooked up with Oki-chan and everything. I've been here for a long time, but that's not my thing. He went there and visited. They had a relationship and did all that stuff. So what all the stuff comes down to the social media stuff, man, and all the Instagram shit and whatever. You pretty much I notice a lot of young cats, and it's different between you and I. They're not I wouldn't say they shoot their shot a lot, and they just hit or miss. We're solid, whereas we don't need this other person to bring us up. And at the same time, that kind of can go against like, all right, well, if you don't need me to bring you up, then I mean, I'll hook up with this guy. But at the same time, it's like, hey, I know, I mean, we could talk about a Joe Budden thing that the shit just went down recently with.
Oh my God.
Let's go into overtime, man. So let's go into overtime real quick, man. What's your thoughts on that?
I've been a Joe Budden fan for
like you're fired,
but I know he's been a fuck up for a long time, right? Yeah. I used to watch Joe Budden TV back in the day when he was the first rapper walking around with a fucking camera, looking like a dork with his outrageous thumb, right? So, been watching Joe Budden for years. So when he first got the podcast, I was like, great. This guy talks a lot. He talks good. His interviews are always great. He had the chick Marissa on there before. Marissa was too much. She's a young chick, just real loose with it. I didn't vibe too much with her, but when his homeboy came on Maul. Maul is Big's brother. Biggs is the man's the myth, the legend behind Rockefeller shit.
Right.
Um, so I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be cool stories. They're all friends. Boom, boom. It was the good vibe, the guys hanging out. It was the conversations that you have with your homies in the corner. It was
Right.
the partners that you like to ride in the car with and talk shit. Y'all, that was the vibe of the podcast. Once shit started getting big,
Money.
talked about a lot. They started getting the deals when they first moved to Spotify. I never had Spotify in my life. Downloaded Spotify just to listen to the podcast because I'm like, man, I've been listening for the last 2.5 years.
Mm.
I want to keep listening. Boom, they do that. They start getting money, start doing tours. Shit start cracking. Conversation was still normal, still regular, still cool. It kind of pisses me off that the money in the business fucked up the vibe.
Mm.
Because I know how it is when I knew it was over when Maul kept on texting when they were on their sabbatical, on their hiatus. When Maul kept on texting, my respect is worth more than that money. When has real niggas ever been out of season? And he kept on, and I was like, "Ooh, that's not good." When the homie that is the cool, calm, collected one
Yeah.
start throwing shots. So when they popped up and they came back, the dudes Ice and Ish that he had on, Ice had a podcast with another chick. I used to subscribe to that, but they just stopped podding because they just wasn't into it.
Mm.
Ice would come to those podcasts every once in a while, hella years ago. The Ish dude was new, but he had been around. They had made phone calls to him before in the pod. So the familiar people were placed. They also had good rapport, good conversation, but you just kind of missed the original line. So when that shit started happening, I said, that ain't good. So when they popped up and came back, you could see the vibe was off. Maul's wearing it straight up on his body language. It's like, man, I'm not fucking with this dude.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
the fact that they had a conversation and he had disrespected the shit out of Maul.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it when he said I was just watching it because I was in the garage and he was like, "Yeah, ain't none of your business." And I watched him periodically. You can just tell, energies, man, and that's why, like, far as people give out, and he said right there, and and like you said, man, like just with him, it ain't, and I was just making a point about that. The reason why I brought it up is like it's not that people say you're trying to be combative. You trying to be like a dick. It's just like, nah, dude, I'm just not gonna, that energy right there, that fake shit. We just not gonna do that, man. And like,
yeah, when we have a good vibe and we're laughing and you say something and I can hit you and look at you but you know exactly what I'm meaning.
Right.
Like that's good energy, good vibe.
Right.
But when our vibes is off,
yeah,
I don't give a fuck what you say. That shit ain't funny.
No, it ain't.
What hype you talking about? I ain't.
That's not I mean, and I don't know any of those guys personally, man. But it's like what they did. I'm pretty sure you've seen a breakdown where there was Roy and Maul, and they were just going. It's like, why? That's nothing to lie about. All that stuff they stated, that's facts.
Right.
That's facts, man. That's and everything that he everything that they were saying, like when anytime they asked about money, he automatically got like irritated, or anytime they talked about deals, they automatically got offended. If you're doing that, that's like a chick be like chick, hey, you talking to somebody else, and you be like, nah, bitch, I ain't, and you slap her in the face like, hey, dude, if you ain't cheating,
like,
if you ain't cheating on me, like it should be like you serious? And then
that's
like
a good way to put it.
And that's how I talk to my wife. I'm like, dude, no, we're not doing this if I wanted to do that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's like what they did was, not to make it chick.
Yeah.
But where they were like, we getting deals, huge. You getting all these houses and shit. That's cool. Where we're getting the bread from, but can we see the last deal?
Yeah.
Good. We're not saying we're not paying as good, but what the deal look like though?
Right.
Damn, chill out. That's like your girl saying, "Are you cheating on me?" No.
Yeah.
Can I see your?
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that right there, man. It was like that is, and like I said, there's always two sides to the story and everything. But I mean, for them, like, why? Like, it's why would they? There was a good thing going. Why would you self-sabotage that, man? That's just not. You know what I mean? He's already saying, when people start getting these like money is good, money is, not the part, like it's because they're well off. It's because they're good to go. And I mean, why would they, screw that up? Everything don't last forever. I remember, you listen to old music, and it's funny because we all listen to the P. Diddy and shit, and they were like, Bad Boy for Life and this, that, and the other. It was like 2002. Nobody was talking about Bad Boys.
Nobody's talking about Bad Boys.
So that was but when you're in it at that point, when you're doing it, you feel like this is going to last forever, but shit don't last forever, man. The mafia shit.
And one small thing can break it, dude. Something very little. You could have your partners riding with you.
Yeah.
You did something real little to make them now question your integrity.
Yeah.
Be standoffish.
Right.
Because none of that shit, once you get it, as a real one, right? So once you get that, and you like, hey man, I don't
yeah. Like
that never goes away.
Right.
It's like you can't recover from
right.
that.
Well,
if you got me to that point,
right, it's something right. Like what Maul said, man. Like again, I've seen a few podcasts, and I didn't know when I seen the Maul, I didn't know he was just like chill like that. And like, I didn't know, like, he just went saying much of shit like that. And then like, I could feel him 110% when he was just like saying, I don't care what the situation is, my integrity would never be in question, man. And I check people on that shit almost daily with this business shit. Like, hey man, you gonna buy this shit or not? Fuck off.
Right.
Like, Google my shit. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah.
You're not like I don't trust. I don't want to give you my title because I don't trust. Like, who the fuck? Like, number one, I've done this X many amount of people before you. You ain't fucking special. Like, some one dude didn't want to give me his title. I need his title to verify the year, to verify this. Man, I don't trust. Like, well, keep your shit then and go somewhere else. And that's it. Like, you're gonna question me. Like, I'm like, bro, this is social media. If you did some bad shit, Google that shit. Hey man, I wonder what Tristan Thompson did. That shit's online. You can't hide. So right now, one thing, I mean, we will bring it up. It's kind of related to LZ. What's everybody's on the with VR wheels and the 3-piece US, and they're saying like, LZ and all those guys are getting the hookup, and other guys are getting their shit stolen to these guys, and they're getting the marketing out
forever.
And it might be that may be the case, man. But it's like it's out there. So like, if it's a company doing some bad shit or some person doing some bad shit, that shit's on blast. Somebody's already talked about it. If you can't find one thing online about it, obviously that person who said, hey man, JTP be giving dudes half rotors and shit, cut them in half and giving them, he take out the side seals and he puts them back together. Like, somebody would have posted that shit online if they discovered that their engine had no side seals in it and it got built by JTP.
Like you see that shit that happened with Colette Davis back in the day, and I feel pretty bad because Colette used to hit me up and ask me, oh, who do I go to for rotary shit? I'm like, where are you at?
Right.
She's like, was in the Bay Area for a minute, and then she was in LA, so she was back and forth. So I said, go hit up Daniel Coe at Garage Life, and he'll take care of you or whatever. So I'm not saying I was the ultimate reason why she went there, but she ended up going there. And everybody saw how that shit went. And you look at it and it's like, dog, she's saying you're doing all of this wild shit. What do you have to say for yourself? Because it's really like you do that kind of shit to a chick. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really on some bully time. And it was really cool. Nobody knew her and Adam was going to get together, and then she started blasting all of the shit, putting all of the shit out there, and when people gotta speak on something being talked about them, that's when it's kind of like, all right, shit, there's some pressure put on you, you know? When you start talking about it, pressure happens.
The rebuttals and all that stuff, man, is just kind of when and again, man, it's like it's a constant being what I do, man, with business stuff and being the single guys. It's constant PR. Like, I don't take like a time out of my week and start, because if you're after the fact, you're already kind of behind the shit talking. So like, you know, if I have a situation with a customer, I almost always put that shit online. Hey, don't just show up at my fucking shop without an appointment.
Right.
Because I
you gotta cut it first.
Yeah, I got rowdy with the guy, and I know he within 10 to 20 minutes he gonna go talk to somebody on base. And before he can even get it, he already. Then people are like, hey man, what happened? I'm like, no, nothing happened. It's just I gotta be my own PR ahead of the bullshit. That way, before he tells you some shit, you already know the reason why I was kind of like, hey man, I got this shit in my hand. I'm doing these side sales. I ain't got time to talk to you. You shouldn't have just showed up like that. And I don't do unannounced appointments and shit. You know, I don't do unannounced rap sessions. You gotta schedule that shit in, and I'll see you next week because that's how it is. To give
like with Cuz when he showed up at my house, I was like, the fuck? I'm straight outside with the phone in my hand.
Oh, this recent?
Yeah, this motherfucker pulled up. Oh man, I see you on YouTube. I saw the cars up front.
Man.
I said, sir, you stopping at my house is the wrong idea,
how the fuck
my
did
guy.
One thing I never personally look for your street name. So that means the motherfucker seen a glimpse of your street name and
he said, I saw the and I saw the amusement park, and I kind of just went the direction that I thought it kind of looks familiar on your videos. I said, sir, that's because instantly, as soon as I saw him, I heard a bike come. I'm like, the fuck? And then I heard it come back down the street. So I'm always in the curtains. What the fuck going on in the blinds? I saw Cuz pull up, instantly start taking pictures of him. Then I pop on some shoes, walk outside straight up.
Yeah, man, what I'm gonna say to this motherfucker, man. It's
like who you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I just noticed you're from YouTube and wrong idea, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here. You know, other than that, hey, how you doing? What's your name?
Yeah.
Where you from? You know, and the whole time I'm still taking pictures of him, his bike, his whole like, nah, bro, I don't play that shit.
See, man, that's the thing with that. This one thing about this shit, man. With the thing, because it'll one thing like Twitter, Instagram, it. And I seen somebody was who was saying it was a Breakfast Club, and they were saying like, you know, Nikki or one of who's the other chick, man, fucking
the brother I was talking bad about her.
No, Cardi B. No, Cardi B had posted on Instagram, hey, you guys think I should buy this bag? And everybody was commenting like, that bag is $10K, this bag is this, and people, and it made sense, and I knew it, but I think it was one of them, I think it was somebody on the Breakfast Club, they was saying like, people, because they post on there and they feel like they follow her, they feel like they're part of it. She just posting shit. So that 10K bag, while it does seem like a shit ton of you, to them it's nothing.
Shit to her. It's like pocket.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing. And then like people are like, oh, I wouldn't buy that. But like, yeah, you can't buy that. So people kind of they kind of, you know what I mean? The social media shit just brings people along for the ride, and then they feel like because they watch their shit. Because I mean, I watch a bunch of podcasts, right? And I actually stopped recently following some podcasts because some actions, man, and like Roy let go. I watched another one called Fighter and the Kid. They let the other dude go, and the way they did it, I'm like, man, that's some bitch shit right there, man. Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe. I just unfollow this whole joint, man.
All the time. I don't care how much I enjoy whatever you do.
Instant turn off. The
second you do some bitch shit, and I know that ain't man work.
Yeah.
I don't rock with that.
But my thing, and I'm fuck everybody's seen it. My thing is the Fighter and the Kid shit, right? And I watched that, and I'm not sure if you've seen that. It's the whole LA joint and everything. The whole they're all in there. So the dude is a UFC fighter. Fighter. He's knocked dudes out. The way he handled that shit, I'm like, man, you physically know you could dominate other men, right? So why would you even act like that? And then they came in there and made a joke about the dude and everything, and then like he wasn't there, and they were already disrespecting the other co-hosts for months, and the guy kept taking it. He kept taking it, and like I'm like, man, this can't last too much longer, man. You know what I mean? They just every time he would talk,
was bad like that.
They would just every time he would say one word, talk right over him. He was just there. He was just there, and I'm like, man. And then sure enough, man, like the next episode, he decided to do his own thing. Like, nah, dude, like you carrying the dude like this and everything, and this in his pockets, like, oh, you can't afford that, you can't do this, like just straight up. It just became a joke, and then became quote not a joke. And I'm like, man, I thought they were cool, and I actually stuck up for the cat, like, because everybody was like, oh man, this, he got this. I'm like, he worked hard for it, but I'm like, bro, that fucking when you see that shit, and like the people don't realize about these podcast shit. If you keeping it real, man, like you gotta watch yourself, because you say some shit 5 episodes ago, and then you say some shit this episode, they be like, hold up.
Go right back to it. It's archived.
Yeah. And like, so I mean, you can check my shit, man. I know what I'm saying, I know what I talk about, man. And like, but yeah, man, people, that was just like, man, instant checkout. And people just think they're on the same level, man. So like, when you look at all these celebrities and shit, and they might respond to you, like, people don't realize you're not on their level, man. And that's just it's hard to swallow. You know what I'm saying? Even for a guy who like me, I feel like I'm doing it. I'm doing it big. I got a shop in Japan, blah, blah, blah. Look at me, this, and this, and they ain't doing it. And it's like, I'll get in my feelings for a second. Like, hey man, look, when it's time to be, it's time to be. Right now, it ain't the time. So let me keep working. Let me get shit in order. And then, when I got all my cars popping, and then when they hit me up, like, hey man, could you fly your car over for this, or do this, or do that? I can be ready. Right now, I'm still building, and I recognize that and everything. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, man, out there,
like my homeboy Mike. I used to tell him all the time. He's getting not getting. He's got a pretty solid following on YouTube, and at times it'd be like, yo, you gotta stop doing this, or you gotta do that, or you gotta respond to people, or deal with them in a certain way. But dude, it's certain times he'd be in front of his house filming stuff. I'd message him, yo, cut that out, and if it's on his IG, on YouTube, he's already edited and that shit's going out. But at certain times, I'll make little suggestions like, "Yo, knock that off, knock this off. Don't do this, don't do that."
You gotta do that shit, man. You gotta like certain parts of my shop I don't film. Like, it's certain things you don't do, because it's like, man, you don't know who the fuck's watching you, man. Who the fuck. You know what I mean? Just again, case in point, I watch as many videos as I watch yours. I never look, because I know, like, man, I can just ask you what your address is. We got that kind of, you know what I mean? Like, hey man, but I wouldn't, what would be the reason, unless I'm on the way over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or hey, I'm gonna send you some shit over there.
Yeah.
And,
but a dude that gets the snipes, that sees that, had to pause the video, had to digitize the screen name to get the street name, and then like triangulate. Okay, this gas station, you buy this whatever that name of that gas station is. You got that gas, and then that exit. They know you get on that exit right there on ramp. So I mean, you take the left to get on the on ramp or whatever, which way you coming from, right by the gas. It's like I know by watching the videos, so they can like, oh, that's he's right around here and shit, man. Let me go.
Like, hey, sir.
The Nofa had an issue with that too, right?
Dude, I think,
dudes stopping up at his shop, stopping up at his house and shit.
Yeah, I think we all kind of just get kind of relaxed on the camera, and then put something out and be like, ain't nobody gonna do that dumbass shit. Somebody do.
Yeah.
Somebody will.
Yeah.
And people show up to people's houses and do weird stuff. There's this other guy on YouTube. People are showing up all the time, paintballing and shit, doing this and that, because he's on a downturn where everybody's against him and they don't like him.
That's unsubscribe and move on, man. You unsubscribe and go fuck with people.
Please.
You looking for different. I don't know who you talking about, what the dude is, man. But that's like like if I ever say some shit on a YouTube video, like, because I'm pretty brutal about my opinions on. I put in the time so I can have my opinions on. For example, the Clutch fan. I'm a proponent of the Clutch fan. If your build ain't some crazy build where you gotta move the radiator to the back,
got no space,
put a Clutch fan in that bitch. If you're real about it, notch the thing, put it in there. And motherfuckers be going at me like, hey man, with this and this, like, hey man, well, I'll take my Clutch fan RB25 on the track. You take your fucking Jinwoo Wish electric fan shit on the track. Let's see who stays out there longer. I'm gonna stay out there longer because my shit's spinning with the fucking engine. and your shit's just spinning at 1 CFM. So it's like I've already put in that shit, man. So people be like, they be, yeah, man. I mean, for me, like I said with that last podcast, I'm unsubscribed. So, it's like that's the end of that. I don't see this shit on my feed no more. I move on. There's 1,000 other podcasts out there that I can get on.
There are.
But
There's such a rich podcast space right now.
Yeah, but like I said with Maul, man, and all that stuff, man, it's just, hey, man, you guys got to realize, man, everybody out there, money is money. Money makes people do certain things, but certain people, myself, dude, I've turned down a lot of work. Just in the last 3 weeks, I've turned down a lot of work, a lot of money, because guys just wanted to do it their way and felt like they could talk to me however they wanted to. And just drop in. I'm like, nah, dude, it's a system to it. And everybody is not a bitch for your money, man. You gotta realize that out there, people. So when you show up, and this is customers I'm talking to right now, you don't show up to nobody's shop or do whatever and like, I'm gonna be there at 5 o'clock. Well, I close at 4. And actually you're not gonna come until you got an appointment. So they just figure because they're about to give you that 3 to 4K for that job that they got this pull, you know what I'm saying?
They figure they own you for that.
Nah, son. Go somewhere else, man. Like, son, that's why I got to get out of here, man, because I got a guy that I was spicy with on the email last week, and I told him to come here and see me with his parts and everything.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so,
make him understand what the situation is.
No, he just bought all his own parts and everything, which I don't like for obvious reasons, and I got to verify what's all wrong because I know something's wrong with what all he doesn't have, and that way I can say, hey, you got to get this, and this, man. So I'm going to get out of here and get to that and everything. Again, guys, we supposed to end it like 20 minutes ago. We kept talking.
I know.
We back on her tomorrow and everything. It's just, man, I get out here in this life shit, man. I'm going to close out this time, man. Out here in this life shit, man. Everybody got stuff going on, man. My thing is just out there, respect people's areas, respect people's time. Don't just think you can just hit people up now with this social media shit and be like in their graces. Like, I got shit going on. Lex got stuff going on or whatever. And that's why I always, hey, man, you got time? Like, hey, man, no, I'm ready to shoot now, man. Let's drop. I'm like, nah, we ain't. I would never do that to this guy, man, or anybody else out there. Respect people's time, and you will be rewarded, man. So that's my sign out, knowledge drop or whatever for the day. Be sure to again like, subscribe, and share. Be sure to hit the bell. Again, I'm not gonna numbers already are in this podcast stuff or whatever. I'm not gonna do anything I'm not gonna come bring rabbits and chickens in here and kill them on the camera for you to get more. That's just not my style. So I'm happy with the views I get and the people that come to my circle, man. And I'm pretty sure Lex is the same way because they're about in the same range for subs. But our content is better than a lot of shit out there. I'll be real with it. But it is what it is, man.
It is what it is. Y'all will find it when you find it, and when you see it, like it.
Yeah.
Help it. If you like it, help it.
Like,
help it.
Oh, man, you got some dope shit. Like, hey, man, go back 10 years ago. I was already doing this shit. Like,
if you got some time.
Yeah, one cat, man. I was like, he's like, man, your video's nice. I'm like, did you see that? Like, I didn't know. Like, go back, man. Archive. I'm doing the same shit. You know what I mean? I just started redoing it, man. But anyway, out there, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Be safe out there, and you practice safe COVID countermeasures or whatever that means to you these days.
Man, we back up, man.
Yeah.
We open.
but
we
cool,
outside.
Man. Yeah, this is gonna open up.
It's
gonna open up, man. But cool again, guys. See you later. It's gonna be Diane signing off from South Japan. Alex from Richmond, California, not VA, CA. So we'll get out of here. So peace.
Peace.